How about a Friday Night Live, folks? Are you guys ready to get after it here on a September 8th, 2023 full update coming in? It's an absolute pleasure. We're already rocking with a few in the group who have tapped in. I appreciate you guys for coming in. We're running a little bit behind here, but as always, we prepared a fantastic show for you guys where we're going to break it down, folks, from the cryptocurrency. Obviously, we always do a little bit of current events. I'm going to show you guys the CPI lie, the expectations and the forecast for inflation not going away, but actually ticking back up. What do we do to prepare for massive inflation? It's not going away. It's a complete CPI lie, manipulated funny money, government data that we're running with. And when we look at opportunities, for me, there's only been a few, and I've been completely locked in and focused. We've been doubling down, pushing down through the floor on the accelerator when it comes to our businesses being completely tapped in with the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. This is not a meme. It is not a joke. This is, not just a warning. It is already here. This is an imminent threat, the opportunity at hand, and the attacks against us. I have a special, exclusive weekly call coming up tomorrow morning. As always, every Saturday, I do an exclusive weekly call with a community of like-minded individuals that are tapped in on all of the issues where I can get completely intimate with. And this is going to actually be one of my most dire warnings to the XRP community that I'm going to drop tomorrow. But it's only going to be exclusive because when I tell you right now, folks, this is my most serious warning to the XRP community that I've ever done that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow. I'm not clickbaiting you. I'm not joking you. I'm not memeing you. I'm not playing games. And I've never been more sure about XRP in the future and the trajectory that we're on right now with this reserve currency digital asset. Game changing, world changing, put a dent in the universe changing, in the own words of Ripple. And once again, who shows up today? Brad Garlinghouse is about to be showing up at Masari Crypto's event, showing out and representing, as always, class act. But what did they do today? The announcement of the fortress. Taking over the fortress. Brad is the king, and I'm going to break it down as we have another acquisition by Ripple. Folks, I hope that you're tapped in with me. Like I said, the exclusive content gets dropped only for the Discord Patreon community. So you head to my website, sign up for Patreon, get access to Discord. And with that being said, if you want to check it out, it's going to be going down tomorrow. My most serious warning for the XRP community because, yeah, this is great. Yeah, we might catch some gains, but what do we do next? And the attacks that are coming towards us in our community that are focused attacks, and not just influencers in this community, but actually communities. They're trying to get at you. And as I said in today's video, JP Morgan versus XRP, it's not a game. It's not a joke. There's trillions on the line. There's hundreds of trillions on the line. On the line right now for the biggest banks in the world, including JP Morgan. And they're in the early phases of their little digital deposit token. So cute. JP Morgan coin, complete failure. And nobody wants to be in JP Morgan's walled garden, right? That doesn't sound like a enjoyable experience. And that's the problem that all these banks have. This is the advantage that Ripple has as a neutral bridge and reserve currency for the world to have and use. And if you want the best liquidity in the world, we're going to supply it. And it's not going to just be the best liquidity for XRP. It's going to be the best liquidity in the whole space, in the whole world. Do you get it yet? Do you get what's taking place, folks? As they send a financial tsunami at us, a small little tight-knit community here in the XRP community. And I was in a space today with Gary Cardone, Grant Cardone's brother. Big money investor, big hitter. And I had the pleasure of joining him on the space here today. And I asked him what his thoughts were on Ripple and XRP and the historic ruling from Judge Torres. The XRP in and of itself is not a security. And he said it's an interesting little deal, an opportunity, and that he has picked up some XRP. So when I tell you that the big money's starting to get tapped in and they're catching up and they got big bags, and we're, the Bitcoin bros are talking about BlackRock coming into Bitcoin, they get set up so easily as the biggest liquidation event in the history of Bitcoin happens right after the whole BlackRock pump and dump. And I'm going to show you guys the data on this market right now. It's not good. It's not good, but I still show up with excitement. I try to still hype us up here a little bit and get excited about something because this opportunity is massive, but they are lying to you and we are under attack. So with that being said, folks, let's get right on into it. This is a Friday Night Live. I am sipping a little Modelo and lime. That's the adult beverage of choice tonight. So cheers, everyone. Hopefully you can catch me. It might be a little bit late. You might be listening to me first thing tomorrow morning. With that being said, it's all at my website, zachrector.com. And without further ado, let's run it up, folks. Let's check it. So Bitcoin is back down again today. Is that what I'm looking at? We were above 26,000. Looks like we're back below 25,800 today. 1635 for Ethereum and XRP. Hanging out at $0.50. And we see here that we have the August CPI report is expected to reveal headline inflation at 3.6% year on year, a 0.4% jump from July. Now, this is being reported by Benzinga, and this is looking like the forecasts are coming in that we're going to get a jump in that CPI report headline inflation number. Now, this is the headline number, not to be confused with the core number. And the core number is not even close to the 2% target. I think we're still over 4% for the core inflation, which excludes some of the most important things. And this is the forecast coming in, folks. And folks are still thinking that Jerome Powell's not going to raise one more time. I think that one more time's absolutely baked into the cake. But with that being said, we are starting to see central bankers around the world pivot. And so this sets us up for that next bull run where this does get exciting. There's going to be a lot more speculation if they fire up the money printers and they're giving out handouts. Forgive student loan debt, send everybody some money, $700 to the Maui victims, pretty pathetic, but just another round of checks to go around. Oh, by the way, we got to make sure we take care of Ukraine, whatever that operation's about. We sent another $1 billion over there 2 days ago, and yesterday was, $600 million? Can't keep track as we've approached probably $100 billion total that we've sent to Ukraine. And this all goes back to what did I say about the next year? As soon as they took that limit off of the debt ceiling, I said they opened up Pandora's box once again. They need to bring in a little bit more pain to act and pretend like they care about reining in inflation, like they are actually have a chance of beating inflation before it's going to kick back up and they're going to be forced to pivot. And I'm expecting them to do so because of the election year. And this perfectly times us out for the next year. But I did want to show you guys something that was very interesting as far as the halvening in that narrative. And I want to make it very clear that this is the narrative around Bitcoin. This is the narrative around an asset that doesn't have real utility. And when I came up into Gary Cardone's space, it was titled BTC is the apex asset. And I, provided a little bit of context with the historic ruling in the case. But then I said, I see the space is titled BTC as the alpha asset here. Well, please explain what's going on here with XRP where we have a little bit of utility. And Gary was on it, and he's picked some up and he acknowledged the utility here. But the narrative around Bitcoin, I keep on seeing it perpetuated in the spaces on the YouTubes and even listening to someone else in the space who is just learning about cryptocurrencies and they're learning about Bitcoin first. See, the Bitcoin bros do this best. They get out the word and they get adoption. They're probably the best at it. And they're the first one through the door. They have the number one spot, yada, yada, yada. You understand that. But this whole narrative of Michael Saylor coming out today and saying that Bitcoin's going to $5 million. I mean, if we go to $1 million, do you understand what that means where we're at for the US dollar? And you could say the same thing about my predictions and others' predictions of XRP going to much higher price. This does go crazy. There is trillions coming into the asset class. And you got institutional investors that are realizing it. And we talked about it. My first question was actually about the new accounting rules. And the new accounting rules in crypto are now going to make it where folks, basically institutions and companies, corporations, like for instance, if Elon Musk wanted to add Tesla to his balance sheet or Bitcoin to his Tesla balance sheet, like he has, or whatever he did, right? they were having to mark to market at the lowest price that Bitcoin traded at during the quarter. So if Bitcoin dumped to 20,000, they're having to mark the Bitcoin that they hold on their balance sheet at 20,000, which clearly would hurt a company's earnings and their balance sheet, right? And so what was happening is the way that this was being accounted and agreed upon was really making it, there wasn't much incentive to hold Bitcoin unless you were an evangelical like Michael Saylor that believed it was going to 5 million and you just don't care, right? And there's many in the Bitcoin community that are like that. There's many in the XRP community that are like that, that temporary dip doesn't bother me. We're scooping more. But what's interesting right now, folks, is that the narrative, once again, and maybe they'll be successful with it, of taking Bitcoin to 5 million is what Michael Saylor predicts. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Michael Saylor saying that Bitcoin's going to go to $5 million. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of that. But here's the CEO of Mara, one of the largest Bitcoin miners, just publicly destroyed the Bitcoin maxi halving narrative yesterday in one of the most bearish interviews I've heard from a crypto exec. One day later, their biggest debt holder bailed. Around the 27-minute mark, asked how they'll weather the halving, his answer boiled down to, quote, as a miner, you just have to have hopium. Maybe the dollar will collapse and save us. If not, we have a Bitcoin stash to dump for a while. Heavily paraphrased. And you have to actually take a look at the miners right now. The miners are dumping more Bitcoin. They're selling more Bitcoin than they're creating. He then states, I don't think the supply reduction around the halving will have any significant effect on the market. He goes on to say the halving cycle narrative is BS imagined by TA horoscope grifters. Now that's pretty good. No hate on the horoscope group. You guys do your thing. The TA horoscope grifters. Not surprising, whoever holds 400 million in debt with them jumped shipped. This is an all or nothing game. If Bitcoin price doesn't double soon after the halving, they are dead. And the smart miners all know there's no real market catalyst for that other than hopium. And this was the point. I was trying to be very clear that I'm not trying to FUD out Bitcoin. I want a level playing field. Let the best tech, let the best companies, let the best projects and currencies win. We're in a currency war. Let the best currencies win. That's what I'm all about. Let all truth be revealed. And let all truth be revealed in regards to the Bitcoin narrative and the Bitcoin hopium that the Bitcoin bros are, sharing out so well. They're getting so many people into the crypto space, just like myself. You learn about Bitcoin first before you get a chance to come along to XRP. And so that's why in the XRP community, XRP isn't the only one, but it's something that I'm not afraid to say, hey, I'm treating this as a reserve currency, just like Ripple and just like many other people I know. This is a reserve currency digital asset with a tremendous amount of utility as well. And the narrative, is it hopium? Is it BS? I think that they're going to be able to catch the pump because as I just showed you guys with the inflation data, the macroeconomic picture, just keeping it in simple terms, Jerome Powell has to turn back on the money printer next year to paper over this banking crisis, to paper over, and they got more events, simulations, fun stuff coming for us this fall. I don't need to say anymore, right? We all know what we're talking about. We all understand what we're up against, and we all understand that it's not a game. And we all understand that there are folks that are still willing to play the game. Go along with the simulation as if this is normal, a normal way of living, and as if we haven't been set up and lied to, and as if they're not coming for the soul of humanity. Talk about some gains on crypto, bro. This is an attack on us on every single level. Now, as I've been saying, the setup is that Biden's going to be preaching that this is the strongest economy in the world, what he said yesterday. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, is rug pulling the American economy, and Main Street, if they're smart enough, if they're tapped into channels like this, then they have a chance of winning. But most of them have no clue what is coming as far as this financial tsunami. And this is going to be one of the biggest corrections in the stock market that we've had in a long time. If you historically look at the Dow Jones valued against gold, there's a lot of correction to do there. And so when historically you look at commodities, you look at the currency war that's underway, we have a major correction to be had, right? Cryptocurrency digital assets play a role, but there's only going to be a few that are serious players in the financial system by my research and understanding of what's taking place, who's actually sitting down at the table with somebody that matters and getting something done that addresses a significant problem. Now, we have a relatively small country, a relatively small pilot when we look at the Palau stablecoin, US dollar backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger mainnet. And we've had some FUD coming around here lately. And I want to give a huge shout out to Jay Hunter Anson, who I just recently had on the show. And he is the Digital Residency Office Director. And he's also from the Palau Ministry of Finance. And he says a third is the retail use case in regards to James Wallace talking about CBDCs from Ripple. And he says the Palau project, the use case here, has proven that the technology works, the solution design works, and our continuing partnership with Ripple works. Well, huge shout out to Jay and the whole team down there. I just saw that the president of Palau was on Darren Moore's channel. Huge shout out to Darren Moore for being able to pull that interview. If you guys missed the interview that I had with Jay Hunter Anson, go check it out. If you're wanting to understand what's taking place with the Palau stablecoin built on the XRP ledger mainnet, folks, huge shout out to Jay. Island nations, this is real tech that's immediately having an impact that is game changing. When you hear stories about folks, a small island nation like Palau, where folks are having to boat to the next island over to go to the bank to pull out cash, to be able to use that cash on the island, and you literally have the most tight, small, tight-knit economy, not just community, economy, right? But they just got fiber optic cable to actually get brought online, right? And now we have technologies like Starlink and, Mark Zuckerberg and other these big money guys are looking at addressing, not just the underbanked issue that we talk so much in the cryptocurrency space, but literally running the fiber optics, running the low Earth orbit satellites, Starlink, beaming it down and getting folks tapped in. This is real. And when you bring 1 billion people online and then you bring 1 billion people banked, you've actually set up that level playing field that we desire so much. That's what we hope for. Now, we're getting into the crypto update, folks. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Bitcoin to 5 million for Michael Saylor. Unbelievable. Now, what we have here is the SEC has filed, it was due today, the reply memorandum in further support of its motion to certify interlocutory appeal. So, once again, the SEC filed the motion. Ripple responded. Now this is the reply memorandum to further support their motion to get this, very extraordinary type of appeal process through. Now, Stuart Alderati, Chief Legal Officer at Ripple, responds, another SEC filing, another hypocritical pivot. After years of its chairman saying that the rules are clear and must be obeyed, the SEC now cries that an appeal is urgently needed to resolve these knotty legal problems. And so, in their argument here, they're asking for the judge to appeal urgently, and they're citing other legal problems and issues, right? The same chairman who says that the rules are clear and must be obeyed. So it's hypocrisy at every step, it's lies at every step, and it's done all by design to keep the regular folks, the common man or woman, out of this opportunity while they allow their buddies at JP Morgan to try to catch up with the early phases of their digital deposit token. Now, Neil Hartner comments, senior software engineer at Ripple working on ODL. Huge shout out to Neil. He says, did the SEC just say that Ripple is the one who wants to prolong litigation? Wow. The SEC as plaintiff has an institutional interest in the efficient resolution of this case. Defendants do not. They seek to prolong this litigation as they have already promised to do. Well, what Ripple promised to do is if the judge grants this appeal, is that Ripple is going to appeal on the institutional investor sales. So if you want to open up this can of worms, we can go down that road. And Ripple has that check, and we have the truth on our side. And I really believe that Ripple had a lot of those contracts buttoned up and really solid. And I don't think that the SEC has them on many of these contracts. When you go back and we're going to be able to see how these were structurally set up, I think that Ripple and their lawyers set these in a way that wasn't an investment contract. And even if it was, and as I'm predicting, I do believe that we are going to get a settlement in this case. I'm betting Daniel from Casino Coin, 100 XRP, that a settlement's going to take place here in September. So huge shout out to Daniel. That's a fun little bet. We'll see if that occurs. But for some reason, Brad and the Ripple team is having the proper party here on September 29th. So I hope you guys are ready to turn up in New York. It's going to be a fun time. Cowboy Crypto says, it's funny that the SEC is talking about wasting resources in their reply memorandum today. Quote, lastly, a stay would preserve the resources of the court, and the parties' defendants have stated multiple times that if the court certifies issues for appeal, they will petition the Court of Appeals to review the court's ruling on institutional sales. Like I just said, right? If the judge grants the SEC's appeal, well, yeah, we're going to appeal the institutional sales. Proceeding with further litigation, and Ripple doesn't want this case to go on. Ripple would have been happy to come in. Oh, wait, they did come in. They did show you their whole business. They have already settled up with FinCEN. Everyone that they're selling XRP to is KYC'd. I mean, and all of these folks, once again, institutional investors, don't need your protection, right, Gary Gensler? I thought you're out here protecting the little guy, right? Why are we so worried about protecting the institutional investors? Proceeding with further litigation before this court when the entire order is on appeal would be a tremendous waste of resources. And Ashley Prosper shares, the SEC claims that there are substantial grounds for difference opinion and refers to the Terra case as an example of conflict existing on the issue. Let me make this simple. To get this interlocutory appeal, you have to find that opinion. This has to be a matter of an opinion on the law, on her ruling, and they refer to this Terra case as an example of a conflict existing on a particular issue. What they fail to acknowledge and hope Judge Torres is too stupid to pick up on is the facts and circumstances of the cited cases are materially different and therefore do not hold as much weight as the SEC wants to believe. As I've always said, the facts and circumstances around the Ripple case are pretty bulletproof. They have some of the best lawyers in the world, best lawyers that money can buy. They've already spent $200 million, 200 big ones. They also claim Ripple never addressed this and therefore conceded it. I would refer them to pages 11 and 12 of Ripple's brief, where they masterfully took down their very point of the SEC is rehashing here. So once again, this was due today, September 8th. As far as the timeline, we'll see. Will the case settle up this month? I would love to not only take 100 XRP from Daniel and to have called the September settlement. I just have a funny feeling. I think this month's going to be pretty crazy. I put out the last weekly update that I did last week for the Discord community was about the September sacrifice that I think is kind of set up here. And as I told you guys, I have a major warning for the XRP community that I'm going to be dropping exclusively for the Discord tomorrow in our weekly call. But once again, this case proceeds. The story goes on. How does this story end is all that we focused on. And we focus on that complete victory that we've achieved from Judge Torres on the secondary market. And what we understand here is that if Ripple does settle up on some early sales and proceeds with their business, we get set free. And now we know that ODL in America can be used. We understand that we have additional utilities and smart contracts coming. It's a beautiful thing that's taking place here in the XRP community while the whole crypto space is in chaos and collapsing, and while the banking crisis is taking place, and while the whole world is being set on fire, we're enjoying the show in the XRP community. But like I said, there's a reason why I'm dropping an exclusive community deal tomorrow, because we are under attack, we are being watched, we are being observed. I promise you that. And we're being set up, and I can only speak on it in my intimate setting with my Discord community. So that's at my website, zachrector.com. In this community, though, what do we see? We see frustration right now because we don't get price action. Folks, you have to understand that paper derivatives, shorts and futures and options within these markets are keeping all of this suppressed. When we look at the precious metals, it's the same deal. There's way more paper claims being traded versus what is actually there in the vault, to put it in simple terms. What's actually in the vault is being traded 80, 90, 100 times over, meaning there's 100 claims for every ounce of silver. And silver is one of the worst. In regards to XRP, what's taking place right now is that we have to distribute the XRP. Most of the sales by Ripple, I argue, don't have much of an impact on the price, down or up, because they're doing them over the counter and it's immediately getting locked away in institutional ODL that's not available for us. That's not available on the public DEX. See, the public DEX is still kind of trading against themselves and still trying to understand what's taking place with XRP. On the back end, you have Ripple doing a roadshow across the whole planet, dominating conferences, dominating with partnerships and adoption, and getting the all-star cast board of directors to guide this company. And then when you look at the company level, they have some of the smartest folks in the room. One of the most stacked teams in the crypto space. By far, nobody comes close. But what's taking place? They're not done. They just made another acquisition. I'm going to break it down right now for you guys. This is Fortress, and this is another acquisition in the middle of a bear market, in the middle of a recession. This company's still pulling up and getting deals done. Does the price move today? No. Will the price move eventually? I believe so. Not here to give you financial advice, but I'm here to warn you that you might want a plan for when this thing does move, because it's going to absolutely blow away this whole space. Most of the world probably still won't know about it because mainstream won't cover it. And it's not meant, most people won't be using XRP on the front end. Most folks are just going to have they're going to be collecting their UBI check, and maybe they're going to own some NFTs, and they're going to own a bunch of video game tokens that they're playing in the virtual reality. And they're going to be happy, own nothing, and they won't even know what XRP is. That's our reality, folks. What we have right now is bear market, recession, liquidity drying up. That's what's taking place. And before I go into this Ripple acquisition, I thought that I had, this was the other tweet that I skipped over on accident from Bare Naked Crypto. This is why XRP is still down. It's because this space, the liquidity is not there. Bare Naked Crypto says, you want to know something scary these days? We somehow have a $1 trillion market cap. And how many times have I said that market cap is BS? Especially for liquidity tokens, where the main utility, the main value for the asset is in liquidity that's moving. It's not in market cap that's parked in an asset that is an imaginary number created off of the last sold price of any given stock or asset. And the volume is worse than 2020, 2019. Not good. And multiple times during the day, only 10 to 15 million in shorts or longs will be opening up. Did I mention we have $1 trillion? Right. So this is supposed to be, they're supposed to be like the way that they pitch market cap, and most people understand market cap when they look at stocks and all these things, right? We look at cryptocurrency and we think, oh, we're worth $1 trillion. Everyone that owns crypto, accumulatively, we all have about $1 trillion worth of market cap. But meanwhile, there's only 10 to 15 million dollars worth of shorts or longs, trades, both ways, taking place right now. And this is worse than 2020, 2019. So are we really at a 1 trillion market cap if we have as much volume as we had when we were sub 500 billion? Something ain't right. We get crazy pump and crazy dumps just to return to the mean average price before. So this is why I'm about to show you guys the acquisition by Ripple. We're about to get bullish again. Don't worry. As I said, this opportunity is so freaking exciting. But this is a bear market still. Liquidity is not there. And they've set us up with narratives. Hopium, BlackRock, traditional currencies are going to be transcended by cryptocurrencies. Biggest Bitcoin liquidation event in our history. And when you go look at the volume, it is pathetic. But what takes place on the back end, like we've been talking about in Ripple XRP land, is you have options contracts, You have institutions that are trying to get exposure, even for the Bitcoin bros. Let's give them credit, right? Most of Wall Street has bought up and funded the largest Bitcoin mining companies. When you look at the amount of institutional money and capital that is pouring into this space, it's absolutely massive, even in the middle of a bear market. And what we get to see right now, while the tide goes out, just like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you get to see who's swimming naked. In the crypto space, boy, oh boy, they're not just swimming. They're doing something that needs to come to an end, probably, right? And I mean that with the biggest frauds in the space, puppet boys like Sam Bankman-Fried getting brought down. And what they were doing is they were part of this operation that was propping up the whole thing. When you go look at Bitcoin bros want to give me a story. That's fantastic. What do I see? Massive exchange manipulation. Tether, massive manipulation. Tether actually helping out the Federal Reserve Treasury by being one of the largest purchasers of Treasury bonds. When I said last year during the recession and the Fed saying that they wanted to offload their balance sheet, what did I say? Who the hell's going to buy this crap? The T-bonds, the T-bills, all this crap. Who trusts the government to give them back that return? And this is why that inversion, right, is taking place right now. But I believe that, when you look at Tether and what they've done with their company, they've loaded up on a large amount. They've been one of the largest buyers of United States Treasury bonds. So they've been part of keeping not only that propped up, but they've been keeping Bitcoin propped up. And maybe they'll get a free pass like Ethereum too, because they're part of that whole scheme. And folks are getting brought down. It's just like JP Morgan had to give up 2 of their traders for, keeping gold suppressed for over a decade. Yeah, that news came out just a couple weeks ago. Did you think the mainstream media covered that? Absolutely not. 2 little Goldman Sachs traders get sacrificed. The whole firm's about manipulation and strong-arming spaces. And just like I said, why do you think that JP Morgan sent 15 of their executives to the offices of Ripple? They might have tried to buy out Ripple, the whole damn company, for all we know. That's not a crazy idea. This is how this game's played. And who the hell sends 15 of their executives at that level to a little startup company out of San Francisco? What we have here today is the confirmation that Ripple is in the space here. They're in it to win it. They're in it to put a dent in the universe. You guys have heard it all. But alongside that, with this XRP digital asset, it's not just used to fund Ripple's operations like the haters and the trolls want to say. What's taking place is they're holding the hands of the largest institutions, payment providers, and banks of the world, with 5 central bank and government projects live, like the Palau stablecoin, US dollar-backed stablecoin on mainnet XRP ledger, 5 unannounced partnerships with other central banks and governments, and conversations taking place with over 20. What we got here today is another announcement right here. Today, we are announcing intent to acquire Fortress Trust, part of the Fortress.io suite of companies. Fortress Trust's financial and regulatory infrastructure complements and expands Ripple's comprehensive portfolio of blockchain solutions for finance. This is an absolutely massive deal, folks. With the purchase of Fortress Trust, Ripple now directly or indirectly holds a Nevada trust license, a New York BIT license, 30 plus US money transmitter license. What did I hear from... I shouldn't even give them any time. What did I hear from the Proton boys about money transmitter license? Oh, Ripple doesn't even have any money transmitter licenses. Or they only had 1 or 2 or whatever their whole narrative was. 30 US money transmitter licenses picked up in this deal, and an in-principle payment institution license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, with already a main office set up in Singapore as well, completely dominating that region when it comes to fintech payment companies. This license acquisition streak signals a clear intention from Ripple to stop being a mere software service provider and become a one-stop shop financial service provider. It is a one-stop shop financial service provider that is treating XRP like a reserve currency in this new financial system. Check out this breakdown, folks. Ripple, the leader in enterprise blockchain and crypto solutions, announced today that it has agreed to acquire Fortress Trust. Through its technology and licensing, Fortress Trust provides critical infrastructure to address the growing enterprise crypto market that complements Ripple's business and product roadmap. And where do you think that little gold brick road takes us? Product roadmap. I mean, come on. And Ripple has to start out with a little low-key flex. This news follows Ripple's recent acquisition of crypto custody provider Mataco for 250 big ones. That's $250 million. One of the largest deals in the space in 2023. By the way, I love how they throw that in there. Picking over the carcass of FTX. Oh, there's not much there. We'll pass. They come across this little Swiss custody solution, Mataco. Yeah, we can throw 250 million down on that. No problem. And then we don't have the price here from Fortress Trust, not that I can find, but 30 money transmitter licenses, that's absolutely massive. And they say this: the licenses are powerful enabler to build and deliver best-in-class customer experiences for enterprises using Ripple's crypto infrastructure across our payments and liquidity solutions, said Monica Long, president at Ripple. Acquiring Fortress Trust affords us a lot of optionality to both improve the current customer experience in our existing products and explore new, complementary products, all in service of becoming the one-stop shop for enterprises looking to convert, store, and move value on blockchain around the world. This is what it's all about, folks. They spend $200 million on the lawsuit, fighting not just for themselves, not just for Brad and Chris, not just for the XRP community, but for all of crypto, with a historic ruling from Judge Torres being given to Ripple, a major victory. They are willing to go the distance in this case, unless they can get clarity, like Brad said. If they want to play, if they want to give us clarity on XRP going forward, then let's do that deal. We can write that check. We're writing plenty of other checks. $250 million to Mataco, and I don't know what the number is on this Fortress acquisition. It looks to me like they haven't yet, they have not yet been able to announce that. Maybe they won't announce it ever. But today, Ripple serves hundreds of customers in over 55 countries and 6 continents with payout capabilities in 70 plus markets. We're extremely pleased that Fortress Trust will be acquired by Ripple. And that's right there, 55 countries, 6 continents, and payout capabilities in 70 markets. And I'm wondering if the hundreds of customers in over 55 countries and then the capabilities of the 70 plus payout markets, I'm wondering where the ODL markets are live now, because now we know that we just got Vietnam, and then what was the other, was it Japan? Well, it was SBI that announced it was Vietnam and one other country. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. I'm blanking on that right now. But in the middle of this bear market recession, as we've talked about, trying to get ourselves in a position to acquire our competition, to make moves, start our side hustle, start our business, buy a business. When we look at these opportunities, they're just going to get better and better from here. The plan is so clear from Ripple, from what I can see. The one-stop shop for the best liquidity and digital asset experience in the world. That's what's going to be achieved when you become a Ripple partner. And whether you're a central bank, whether you're just a payment provider, whether you're a small island country like Palau, you can get the benefits right away. And I really believe, folks, that we're about to get a couple more major announcements to finish off this month. I don't think that we're done here in September. We got a proper party coming up here on September 29th. This alone is a major deal. But like I said, folks are frustrated because the price hasn't moved yet. Have patience, understand what's at play, and understand that when XRP does go, that it's going to come right back down in a violent way. There's going to be a major amount of selling taking place. Many folks haven't been able to do the research and acquire the knowledge on what XRP's potentially going to do long term and what I believe it's set out to do by the likes of Ripple, helping push the main adoption along with a decentralized community of XRP ledger developers and folks like myself that are going to hold XRP, that want to use it. I'm waiting for my utility. We got smart contracts coming to the XRP ledger potentially. Sidechain, okay. Ethereum virtual machine is going to be massive. When you get every smart contract can be rolled over to the XRP ledger seamlessly, it's game over. Why would you use Ethereum? Okay, you want to write the contract on Ethereum? Okay, sure. Where the smart contract platform takes place doesn't matter. What matters is, at the end of the day, what are folks wanting to hold, and where are folks going to get the most amount of utility, and what is the biggest problem that the world faces for digital assets to address? It's liquidity. We bring it back to a debt, currency, liquidity crisis that is our main thesis that we're running with on why we're making the moves that we're making right now. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not a meme. This is a debt, currency, and liquidity crisis, and the middle class will be sacrificed. The American dream is being sacrificed. Our economy has been rug pulled at the fastest pace in history. Jerome Powell raised those rates, and he doesn't care about wiping out your 401k. He doesn't care about your equity getting wiped out. He doesn't care about you losing your job. In fact, that's part of the plan to bring back in inflation, is to kill us, financially speaking. The opportunity on the upside, we can talk about that till the sun comes up tomorrow. What the hell are you going to do with it is the main question right now. What we talk about in our group is having an exit strategy or a reallocation strategy for every single position that we've taken. We don't just buy things based off of hopium, based off of, we watched one of my videos, we watched somebody else, we listened to a Twitter space, we listened to a crypto bro who told us a story. We do our own research. We make a calculated entry. We don't just want to FOMO in. We make a calculated entry, and then we want to make a calculated exit and potentially step on out, ladder out of our positions. This is fundamentals of trading. That's fine. Some traders want to trade at a more rapid pace. They want to be day traders. They want to be trader guys. That's fantastic. I don't have time to be a trader guy. But what we do is we take positions in a calculated way, and then we plan our exit on every single position that we have. Some of our assets that we hold on our balance sheets, we treat as reserve currencies. And for me, that's just XRP, and that's some silver, and eventually I probably will have some gold, right? And these are reserve currencies. So am I going to trade out of most of my position? Probably not. Most of my position is meant to get handed on down to the children. And these are assets that we believe over the decades to come are going to take us to a fun place where we'll have some options, but we'll be navigating a crisis. And you've made it here. You've made it to my channel. All I ask is that you guys please share this channel out far and wide. Just help get this message out. And maybe folks can't listen to a whole hour-long rant. I don't know how long that we've gone so far here tonight. We're approaching 45 minutes, right on cue. Okay? 45 minutes, right on cue. Then we can take some Q&A for you guys. I don't know if most folks want to listen to a 40-minute deal. Don't care. I want to do a Friday Night Live where we run it up and break it down on all levels, and I can rant a little bit while I enjoy an adult beverage. I already dropped 2 videos this morning. I got another one dropping tomorrow at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the drop time. So mark it on your calendar, set your reminders. Every single day, I'm shooting to drop at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That'd be 9 a.m. Eastern. And then I'm going to be dropping again at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So you can catch me on your way to work. You can catch me while you're having breakfast. Or if you're on the East Coast, you can catch me while you're having lunch. Okay? Every single day, that consistency through this chaos is how I'm going to help the most amount of people. All I ask is that you absolutely smash that thumbs up, and help me share this message out far and wide. If you want to join our exclusive community, the exclusive conversation in our Discord weekly call tomorrow, you just go to my website, do the deal. Okay? You can get in touch with me at my website if you have any other further questions. But in the meantime, we have a nice little group going. Let's run it up. Please share this one out far and wide and let everyone know that we're rocking and rolling on a live session here. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. It's about 8:30 here on the West Coast, and we're still going to keep it rolling for a little bit. Appreciate you guys. Let's do some Q&A. Okay, folks, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, looks like the market's back down tonight. Let me know. Let me know what we're working with here. If you have any questions, comments. HBAR and Quant will do well. It's going to be interesting to see how well they do in this next bull run. HBAR got to participate in the last bull run, relatively new for both those cryptocurrencies, so they don't have a lot of history and track record, but I do expect them to move with XRP and some of the other utility cryptocurrencies at least one more time. Very interested to see the success of Quant and HBAR long term, because I'm just not seeing as many people using the token as I would like to before I make investments in this space, or at least bigger ones. I've never held either one of these coins, full disclosure, but you know, they're interesting, very interesting. My stomach, you know, this is stomach turning stuff, Daryl, isn't it? And that's why I try to lighten the mood with the Friday Night Live and have a good time. But at the same time, when we look at this, we understand what's taking place, what they have planned for us. And it's a full-on attack and assault against not just the cryptocurrency space with Operation Choke Point. That's just the beginning of it. That's just one part of the story. Philip, I appreciate you. Says, always like your videos, Zach, especially when I see the lives. You're the man. Yeah, Philip, appreciate you, man. I've been trying to pump out some lives here and there. I appreciate being able to take the comments and questions, checking the vibe of the community. That's what it's about for me. Do you see all the crypto market going centralized? Yeah, for the most part. You know, what's interesting is that you're going to see DEXs grow. Like the XRP Ledger DEX is set to grow by a lot. If we get the automated market makers, which we're set to get here potentially soon, if we end up getting the AMM, the automatic money maker is what David Schwartz called it. You know, we could start to get some yield from our XRP. That gets very interesting, and I think that we're going to start to see something like that grow. That's a DEX, that's decentralized, but I do think that the space does get choked down, and the big boys do come in, and even the early winners get bought out. And for most people, they're not crypto operators, they're not crypto traders, they don't know how to set up a wallet, they're not going to do cold storage, they just want to hold their crypto on Coinbase. That's the reality, right? I see the XRP blinder drop me a 5 spot. I appreciate you, brother. Get your red folder autographed by the proper parties when you go, Z, and have a red solo cup for me. Yeah, man, that's the thing, guys. I'm not going to be making it to New York. I really wish that I could, but unfortunately, I have some other commitments right now, and so I'm not going to be able to make it to the proper party in New York. But I want you guys to please turn up for your boy, have a great time and celebrate, because the good guys and the good gals won, and we're just getting started, and the party's just getting started. So XRP blinder, I feel ya. I wish I could go too. Man, I can't wait to see the pictures, the videos, the community. Absolutely gotta love it. And we're winning. We're winning right now in a major way. Mike says, been following you since TikTok, and there was only 12 of us in the chat. Keep up the good work. You've come a long way this last year. Mike, I appreciate you, man. From 6-hour live shows on TikTok and a whole lot of nonsense on TikTok, dealing with censorship and dancing around, and that's why I'm only streaming on YouTube tonight. And a lot of my most recent live shows have just been on YouTube, is because I got to be careful with TikTok. It's a very powerful platform. I'll always be thankful for it. It's still powerful as hell, actually. I still put out videos over there that just go hard on views and new people. And that is one of the best ways to go. Folks want to dismiss it. I'll tell you, many people want to know, what should I do with social media? There's no questions asked. Most people can't do it, though. Most people, they don't want to do it. They're uncomfortable. They're self-conscious about how they look on camera. Whatever the story is, whatever the excuse is. TikTok is ridiculous. It's not even close. X is getting close. it's X is powerful in its own right, but as far as virality for just a random video going viral or a well done video going viral, TikTok is by far the best platform still. Even though I don't even really spend much time on TikTok anymore. I don't do lives over there really. I just post, shorts every once in a while. But it's still a powerful platform. The algorithm is absolutely triggered so well. I need to drop more short stuff because I know everybody complains, I'm not watching an hour and a half. I'm not watching 45 minutes. Well, I'm going to have a good time for an hour and a half with my community. Sorry, not sorry. Good day from Australia, Zach. Keep up the positive vibes, bro. Aussies are following you all the way. Daryl, hey guys, in the chat, let me know where you guys are from real quick. Let me know because we got Australia. I've had New Zealand, folks all over South America. I love to see it. And I'd like to have the eyes on. See, it's cool. Okay, we're all from these different places, but right now this is an information war. That's why I have my exclusive group. That's why I started my exclusive Discord group 2 years ago, was to have a safe space to talk about all this stuff and to have an intel, have folks that are willing to whistle blow a little bit on what they're seeing within their businesses, within their jobs. The military's always been some of my best sources for intel. Boy, I didn't even cover the war stuff again tonight. But yeah, it's taking place right now as far as the ramp up. It's heating up a little bit. The talk, the narrative is nuclear. It's, we've I guess essentially sent nuclear armed aircraft over there nearby. This is a major escalation. There was also the big drama this week with Elon Musk and his whole deal with Starlink, turning on Starlink for Ukraine. Does the SEC need to sign off on the Ripple IPO? That's a good question. So this is so exciting. Ripple, the company, what we just saw again today, once again, another acquisition. These are deal makers. These are big hitters. When these guys walk in a room, they are bringing something serious to the table. It is no games being played. And they're doing this during a bear market. And so that's what's very interesting about the opportunity for Ripple and the public offering that's going to be happening sometime after the case ends. And yeah, they do have to get approval from the SEC, and that's why we don't expect them to announce that they're going to be, doing an IPO until the case is settled. Now, Brad Garlinghouse in Vegas, he said to the group, I was sitting right there in the room with everybody else, and folks in the comments have already verified what I heard, and you guys can go back and watch the video. He said, when we win this case, then we're going to have the proper party. The XRP community won the case on the secondary market sales, but they didn't get a victory on the institutional sales, and the SEC is trying to appeal on the programmatic sales. But Ripple hasn't won the case. So why are we having the proper party? That was my first deal. And then you guys saw David Schwartz reply to that one tweet. There was an XRPP tweet, a satire tweet about, Jello shots, settlement, IPO, something else. Oh, Gary Gensler running naked. It was like 4 things. And David said that 2 of these things were going to be announced or happen. Two of these things will happen. And so my prediction was settlement and Jello shots. You might have seen Digital Asset Investor. Huge shout out to DAI for using my tweet in his title of his video. Settlement and Jello shots is my prediction on what's going to be taking place in Vegas. They're going to announce that, right before the proper party, I believe before the proper party, they're going to announce a settlement, and that at the party they're going to announce settlement, and that they might have some Jello shots. That to me sounds the most likely. I don't think that they're going to announce the IPO, but that's the other big one, announcing that IPO. Maybe that's going to be the two there. Maybe they won't do Jello shots. Maybe it's going to be champagne. It's a pretty classy event in spot. And the XRP community is some classy folks. But maybe it's going to be settlement and IPO, right? I don't think that we're going to see Gary Gensler running around. I don't think that we're going to see that. Jello shots, what are the likelihood of that? And then settlement and IPO. Those are the two big deals that we're waiting on here. It's very exciting stuff. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Jello shots and Gary Gensler running around. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? You have the four options there. Gary Gensler running around in his birthday suit. Jello shots. Settlement. IPO. Those are the four. David says that 2 out of 4 happen. Let me know in the comments down below what you think are the 2 that are going to take place. Now we have Gary Gensler coming to testify in Congress, take some questions. Hopefully someone will actually hold him accountable 2 times this month here in September. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, exactly. Anvil Man, Dex, I agree, brother. I agree 100%. That the SEC caused $1 trillion plus in damages. That's my conservative estimate, is $1 trillion, which sounds crazy to a lot of people. But just look at what XRP would have done if it had been able to participate in the last bull run without the cloud on title. The market cap of XRP would have gone to $1 trillion plus. Now, that's not including Ripple spending $200 million on their lawsuit battle. That's not including all of the XRP holders that experienced damages. It's tough to put a number on that, right? And then you ask the question about the fair market value of XRP, like my friend Jimmy Valley. That rhymed, didn't it? Jimmy Valley and the committee there putting together fair market valuations. And I think that the fair market value of XRP is a lot higher than 50 cents. I will say that. I will say that I think the fair market value of XRP is a lot higher than 50 cents. And the value that's being traded, the current price, does not reflect that in the slightest. It is part of the facade and the, they want you out narrative gets spread around in the community. I do think that there's not going to be more XRP coming for us. So going forward, if Ripple's not selling XRP programmatically, if they're not making it available on the secondary market, if it's only going to institutional investors for ODL, that changes things. We would not be getting more XRP, right? But with XRP at 50 cents, it's faking out a lot of people. And when XRP drops again, when the rest of the space dumps, it's going to fake out a lot of people. And we're also in the middle of a recession that we were warning about back in, the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. Hey guys, this is a recession. We got to prepare. Number one on recession to-do list is make money. Make as much money as possible because inflation's not going away. And next we look at, protecting some of our wealth. And then we also got to look at these opportunities that we have to pick up these suppressed assets while we still can. Okay. And then we also have opportunities to make acquisitions within our own life and business, just like Ripple's doing, acquiring Mataco, acquiring Fortress here. This is the same position that we want to put ourselves in right now as well. If you're starting from nothing, relatively speaking, we're starting our side hustle. We're going to, this weekend, I'm telling you right now, it only takes you 15 minutes to file the LLC, to do all the paperwork, to do the deal, to make the website, to make a Facebook page, to make a Twitter page, to start your business. Any business can be started in a weekend at this point, right? I mean, folks, take the step. Take that step right now. I'm hearing plenty of stories right now of folks having success in their side hustles, having success in their businesses, building out real infrastructure that they know can, withstand a recession. And then when it comes to investment opportunities, we've only highlighted a few, but boy, oh boy, do we believe in them in a major way. And, for me, that's XRP. I just dropped a precious metals update. Did you guys see the precious metals update? talked about the predictions, not my predictions, but others' predictions. Other predictions, CEO of First Majestic Silver, someone who has obviously a bias. He's in the silver industry. But he talks about scenarios of a $100 and $1,000 silver. And that if gold goes to $10,000 per ounce, he expects that silver is going to go, approach that $1,000 figure. I was listening to Peter Schiff today, and he was talking about historically you've had a 1-to-1 ratio between the Dow Jones and gold. And right now gold is sub 2,000, right? And the Dow Jones is at 30,000 plus. And eventually we come back to reality, i.e., we get that ratio back to 1-to-1, potentially, right? This is historically how it's been. So is the Dow going to come down and gold's going to come up, and maybe we meet at a $20,000 Dow? That's a significant pullback for the stock market. But folks are calling for a lot worse. And a $20,000 per ounce gold, hold up. That's way too much speculation. We're not allowed to talk about that, are we? We better run that by the Twitter Thought Police fact checker talking heads before we talk about that, huh? No, we're not afraid to talk about it, okay? It's not that we have to have the expectation that it's for sure going to happen and it's going to happen next year. No. As I said, with all these assets, with the thesis that we're running with, this is a multi-decade process. But we come back to reality. Is that a $15,000 Dow and a $15,000 gold? Is it a $10,000 Dow and a $10,000 per ounce gold? Right? At some point, we come back to reality. You're seeing that the BRICS deals have been done. This is just the start. Those are just the headlines. There's also countries outside the BRICS that are moving. And what I just was listening to today, I actually just gave a shout out earlier in the show to Darren Moore, Fame 21 Moore, Darren Moore Jr. He's on YouTube as well. And he's one of the OGs in the community. And he had the president from Palau on. Now, they confirmed that their pilot with the XRP ledger was a major success. Major success. But it was relatively small. Now, of course, the fake news, the crypto fake news syndicates got together to try to FUD out XRP again and say that Palau and Ripple were canceling their partnership. No, it couldn't be further from the truth. The first phase was over, just like Jay Anson came on my show and said, we're in our first phase now and it's going to end sometime in September probably. And here we are. First phase comes to an end. And all these, the Bitcoinist was one of them. A Bitcoin-centered news media outlet, go figure, sharing FUD about XRP that is completely fake. Not even close to the truth. And when you listen to the president of Palau on Darren Moore Jr., he had an interview with him just a few days ago. He said it was a successful trial, but this was my key takeaway. He acknowledged that they're working with our Treasury Department. Now, when I was listening to this today, I'm in the middle of my day just going about my business, and I'm listening to this and I thought, no freaking way. In a separate video, I'm going to pull up the clip and I'm going to play it for you guys. Huge shout out to Darren Moore Jr. for being able to pull the interview. The president of Palau, think about this. President of Palau speaking with a member of our XRP community. Incredible. And Jay Anson's been all tapped in with the XRP community. He went on my show. He went on a few others. I think he went on a Trumer's Only Space with Mr. I. So Jay Anson from the Ministry of Finance has been all on all of our shows, right? But I stopped what I was doing and I had to play it back. I said, what did I just hear? He acknowledged that they're working with the Treasury. They're working with FinCEN. Ripple already settled up with FinCEN, right? We understand that, where FinCEN ruled that XRP is a virtual currency. They're working with FinCEN and they're working with the Treasury Department, the same Treasury Department that Rosie Rios comes from. So Rosie Rios, 43rd Treasurer of the United States, leaves the board, leaves there to go to the board of directors at Ripple. We all understand that and know that. But then her Treasury Department is also actively in relations and monitoring what Palau is doing with their US dollar-backed stablecoin. They're working with the Treasury, they're working with FinCEN, they're working with all of the regulators, and the president of Palau was just in DC, by the way. And he said that the feedback that he's getting from those folks is fantastic. So as we said when this project first got announced, we said, guys, this is a proxy US stablecoin test on the mainnet XRP ledger, not on the private central bank ledger that Ripple created for central banks. That's a private version. It's a fork of the XRP ledger. In fact, what Ripple did with the central bank ledger is the same thing, essentially. It's similar to what the developers are trying to do with the smart contracts deal. They're forking the XRP ledger and they're creating their smart contracts. They're adding features to that ledger. Well, what Ripple did is they forked the XRP ledger to create the central bank version, right? That has privacy capabilities. The private ledger for central banks was a fork of the XRP ledger. But what Palau did is they put the Palau stablecoin, PSC. They put the PSC on the mainnet XRP ledger. And then they gave away these tokens to government employees in a relatively small trial. And they said, go spend this at these vendors. And so on the mainnet ledger, you can go watch someone from Palau buying a soda pop at the store. That transaction's going over mainnet XRPL. You can go to XRPL scan and go see the transactions for yourself. Relatively small trial, okay? Relatively small country. But this is a country, and in the interview, he said, we're a small island nation, but we're our own independent sovereign nation, and we're a member of the UN. He made sure to say that. And then he also said that we're being monitored and observed by the Treasury, by FinCEN, by all of this, because they don't want to step on anybody's toes, right? They're a relatively small island country that wants the backing, and they have major backing from the United States government on a military front. And you have them completely aligned with the United States. In fact, in the interview, J. Hunter Anson acknowledged how a lot of their tourism comes from China, and the tourism is firing back up. But the problem now that they're experiencing is that the Chinese are being encouraged not to go there because Palau is on the side of the United States and Taiwan. So, but bringing it back to the point, the Palau stablecoin project is a US dollar-backed stablecoin. They don't have their own currency. They're creating their own currency, but they're backing it by the US dollar. So this is a proxy US dollar-backed stablecoin project on mainnet XRP that has gone live, that the first phase has concluded, and it was successful. And now they're going to ramp it up in stage 2. And Darren Moore was asking him about the tokenization of assets and bonds and other, assets issued by the government. And he said, that's a long ways away. That's a long ways away. But you have to understand, is it really that far away when you have a company like Ripple that sends out their team of operators, that provides that whole suite of technology solutions, a one-stop shop for liquidity? And as we get tokenization coming to the XRP ledger, smart contracts, additional utility being brought online, you're going to have all those capabilities, and you're going to have all those capabilities on ledger for everybody to do. But then you're going to get the help. You're going to get Ripple to hold your hand to launch a CBDC in one day. Remember when David Schwartz said that? You can launch a CBDC in one day on the XRP ledger. And now with the tokenization of assets, the president of Palau understands, though, they have a process, and they actually have to go through their Congress for them to do this. This is not something that's just being done by the president. He's not some tyrant over the island there, over the islands. He has to get approval from their Congress. And so he has to go through the steps in the process. And so to him, it might seem like it's a long ways away, but I'm here to tell you that with what Ripple's doing with the acquisition of Fortress, we just saw that's a major deal. Motako for custody. And then we are seeing Liquidity Hub fire up for a one-stop shop liquidity for all digital assets, not just XRP. On-demand liquidity corridors are growing, and I'm interested to see how many corridors we now have. Well above 40, well above 40. SBI firing up 2 additional corridors here just in the last week. In a major acquisition by Ripple here in the middle of a bear market. You gotta love to see it. All I want is a humble piece of land where I can grow a food forest. Come on, Bull Run. David, we've been focused on real estate in our group as well, because it's an asset class that we all have to move in. We all have to navigate. And some of us are going to own nothing. We're going to be happy being renters. And I actually think that that's a fine deal for a lot of people, actually. I really do. In a jacked up market, depending on your location, in some areas, it does make sense, especially if you're not a real estate expert and you're not handy and you don't got skill like skills around properties and really know how to buy them. It does make sense to be a renter in some places, right? But the reason why we've been talking about the real estate asset class is because we have a lot of folks who are interested in becoming real estate investors. We have folks that already are investors. I'm starting my real estate investment portfolio, and the asset class is being reset. So as someone who hasn't entered real estate, I don't own my home, right? And I'm looking to buy my first home, looking to start investing in real estate. But this is just one part of the plan. But it's a significant part, big part of tax advantages. Obviously, real estate, one of the most tax favored asset classes in the world. And when you partner that up with your businesses, you can actually set up your whole life, where most of your life, like in my case, all of my life is centered around my businesses. And you get to set up your life in a way where you get the tax advantages, but you've also invested in things that are good investments, real estate, businesses, right? And there's additional plays there to be had as well. Right now, I'm looking at the commodities markets. I'm looking at precious metal mining companies, other rare earth mineral mining companies. I'm looking at these miners, not Bitcoin miners. I'm not looking at Bitcoin miners. I'm looking at the miners and the mineral companies to start to understand those opportunities, because I think that we see a significant run up, and it's a way to get additional exposure to the precious metals and the rare earth minerals, is to hold some of these companies. I'm looking at that. But as someone who's new to some of these areas, I'm always willing to learn. And that's where I get tremendous amount of value out of my group, is that I have folks that have, significant portfolios, are still doing transactions during a market like this. And, we have a wealth of knowledge that's being shared in our group. And the pleasure over there is that we get to actually talk about these deals in that more intimate setting. See, I can't talk about some stuff publicly now for a multitude of reasons. I wish that I could talk on, I'm someone who loves, I actually say too much. I often, kick myself for saying too much, right? But for reasons now, I'm remaining very tight, pulling back kind of on what I can speak on in the public space, in the public realm, because of our position, our standing, because I know that we're being watched, and I know we're being targeted, and I know that we're under attack. And I'm not just saying that to make a cool story. It's a reality. And like I said, I'm going to be putting out a warning for my community tomorrow. That's one of the most significant XRP warnings I've ever put out. And this is why, for me, right now, I'm going to be dropping some more additional content in the business development program, because I want people to get their paper up. I want people to make more money, because inflation's not going away. And they've set us up to get rug pulled on Main Street, and they're only helping out the voters that they want to get, i.e. student loan debt, i.e. other BS programs, while they send hundreds of billions over to Ukraine and other countries, wasted away. It's a complete joke, but it's a setup, right? And so I'm going to be dropping additional content in the business development program, but I'm also going to be dropping some more content on setting up our assets for protection, as far as trusts surrounding protecting our wealth. But it's a multifaceted approach, right? Some of my positions, precious metals, that's defensive. Prepping, food, gardening, defensive. And I like gardening. It's enjoyable, right? But 90% of my focus and energy is on making it and multiplying it. The protecting it part's very simple. How much of my, my paycheck, my monthly income do I have to invest? And with what I have to invest, with my risk exposure, with what I'm willing to tolerate, how much do I put into protection? How much do I put into offense? How much do I put into mild offense? How much do I put into Hail Marys? To break it down into simple terms, that's all we're doing. And if you're making the same paycheck every month, you know what you're working with, right? Now, I've been suggesting that we consider a side hustle, that we consider how do we get a raise at our job? How do we make more money, right? When it comes to protection, that's baked into the cake. That's already something that's very easy. It's just a methodical strategy. Every single month, we're sliding over this into precious metals, over into our defensive measures. And then we go on offense. And then we're looking to find the best plays right now and the best opportunities. For me, like I said, when I look at the stock market, when I look at the equities, after they've already gone public, after they're already being shilled to everybody, I'm not interested. I'm looking at getting in on early opportunities. And what I'm looking at right now is asset classes that are very undervalued. And there's only a few. Okay. So, Main Street's not getting shilled precious metal, rare earth miners by, CNBC. Jim Cramer's not shilling us on the miners of these rare earth minerals. That's good, right? Because if Jim Cramer's shilling it, we know what's about to happen, right? So there's only a couple opportunities like that. I think the AI is way overhyped. I think that the equity markets have a serious correction underway, okay? And just as a general thesis, when general investing into the equities markets, after it's already gone public, it's being shilled to everybody. So just understand that. Is the ROI going to be as good as it was for those early insiders? No. Now, there definitely is folks that are, someone's pitching a deal every single day right now, and money's been easy, money's been cheap. Now money's getting tight. There's still a lot of money around though. So it's still relatively easy for those that are trying to raise capital and do deals. But it's gotten tight. And for good reason, it's gotten tight. And when I look at some of these valuations, when I go through some of these companies, some of these opportunities, when I look even at crypto digital assets like Bitcoin, and I'm listening to the Bitcoin guys debate on whether Bitcoin's going to 100,000 or 150,000. And I just think, man, I'm not here for a 4 or 5x, because that's what Bitcoin's at today, right? From this price point to those price points, we're talking a 3 to 5x, okay? That's not what I'm here for. I see some opportunities in some of these assets that are going to well outpace those types of returns if we're half right. Now, when I look at silver, I'm picking it up at $30 an ounce. For me to catch, a 5 to 10x, right? We're talking silver going to, levels like 150 to 500, 150 to $300 per ounce would be a 5 to 10x, right? 5x is $150 per ounce if I'm buying it at 30, and a 10x is going to be $300 per ounce. Okay, I think that that's possible. There's many other folks that think that's possible. Am I going to be selling out my silver at that time? Probably not, because as I've always said, my silver, it's a reserve. It's meant to get handed down to the children. And maybe I might sell some back if I need some liquidity. It's always there. It's always a savings, right? But I'm only saving silver. And the only other thing that I'm saving is XRP. I have cash that I'm putting on the sidelines. You can call it a savings, sure, but it's capital to deploy. And I'm right now getting more selective because we're going to see a major correction before they pivot. Before the Fed has reason to pivot, we get cleaned up a little bit more. We get brought down a little bit more. And it's not just the stocks, it's not just the cryptos, it's going to be the job numbers. Okay? And if they can, try to bring inflation down, try to tame it, they can try. But the projections that I showed you guys earlier in this episode here tonight was that they're going to tick back up in a major way by almost 0.5%. So inflation is going to tick back up by almost 0.5%. And headline CPI could reach 3.7. We just covered how core is well over 4%. The core is the one that they're trying to get down to 2. Headlines ticking back up in a major way, just like it did last month. It was already up. It was already up last month. Now, if we get another print that's up again, once again, that's going to confirm the return of inflation. We have inflation returning. Jerome Powell, what choice does he have? He has to raise rates by another 25 basis points, another 0.25%. And many folks are trying to front run the Fed pivot. I think that they get caught. And I think that they also are going to get caught if they don't have a long-term strategy for their positions, right? If you're going to have to be readjusting $1.5 trillion worth of commercial real estate by next year, that confirms that a real estate reset's underway at the commercial level. Do you think that that impacts residential markets? Yes. All markets are not created equal, though, so the real estate game is really a location-by-location basis. It's very hard to speak on real estate generally, but I can say generally speaking that there will be a real estate reset. The prices of 2022 won't be the prices of 2020, 2023, and 2024. We already know that. That's confirmed by the data. That's not up for debate, right? The prices are already back down. They've gone up in some areas, some smaller markets, but what we're seeing is a real estate reset is being confirmed, and this is an incredible opportunity for those of us that are prepared. This is going to be the sale of a lifetime on all assets. So maybe you're just looking to pick up a car. The used car market, the credit card debt is all growing, and the amount of defaults is at a pace that we haven't seen since the last great financial crisis. So all the data is confirming that we're doing an 08 once again. Is this time different? Yes. Is this time worse? Yes. Do you have a plan? I hope to God. God willing. Not only are we going to be able to survive, but we're going to be able to thrive. I hear a lot of people say this. I hear a lot of people say generational wealth. They don't have a plan. They will not achieve it. The greatest transfer of wealth in world history doesn't mean that we all win. We all get to participate in it, but the transfer might be your account, your business, your real estate, your deal, not making it if you're not getting serious about going through a recession, going through a liquidity, debt, and currency crisis, adjusting your balance sheet, your investments to this new reality, adjusting your business to this new reality. Unless you want to have the plan that Biden's going to forgive my debt, he's going to forgive me for my sins, he's going to send me another check, I'm going to just live off the government, I'm just going to be a happy camper. Or the slight 5-10% that probably don't make it to my show who think that all is well. Keep on following in line. Whatever they tell me to do. Economy's great. Gotta love Bidenomics. As they march to their own demise. Without a doubt, it is the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And all I'm trying to do is help as many people as possible be on the right side of that transfer. It's that simple, folks. Brenda, thank you. Brenda, thank you. Great show tonight. Appreciate you guys. Shannon's going to bed. Shannon, I'll see you tomorrow in the Discord call. We'll see you in the AM. God bless you. God bless our Canadian family. I love my Canadians. I love making fun of my Canadians too. We make fun of everybody. It's just called having fun and not being so dang sensitive, right? Can we have a little bit of fun? Can we make fun of the Canadians? You guys can make fun of me too. I hope everyone had a good time here tonight. Hour 24. I'll take another 5 minutes of questions. What do you guys say? Did I miss another super chat too, by the way? I think I did. Axide, I almost missed you, brother. 5 spot from Axide. Appreciate you, Sam. Sam, good to hear from you. Zach, can you give your opinion on, or is there any content on what might happen to infrastructure and electronics markets if gold and silver skyrocket? That's a good point. I hear a lot of people talk about how that's going to, stop the price of going up. No, that's the reason for price to go up, is because when the folks using it for real world utility, for infrastructure, for electronics need it, they're going to be the ones that are going to be able to pay a higher price. Not only want or be, not only are they going to be willing to pay a higher price, they have the money to do so in a major way, right? When Apple wants to acquire some gold or some silver for their electronics or whatever deal they're cooking with, they're going to be willing to pay that higher price, and then they're just going to flip it around. And we're all paying, what are we paying for, $1,000 for a new iPhone now? No big deal, just finance it. And now a lot of the times they don't even let you buy it cash. It's like, no, you're not allowed to buy it cash. You have to finance it. Right? It's like a crime to just pay cash for the phone now, right? And so they're going to just pass it on to the consumer, and that's going to be the return to the inflation's not going away. And the problem with this is it's a supply and demand dynamic that can't change quickly. This isn't funny money that we can just print more of. We can fire up more production. We can set things in motion. It takes decades to go through the approval process and to just get the bit into the ground on these rare earth minerals. It takes decades to do all of it. And there's already a deficit. And once again, their margins are already being squeezed. With Tesla already lowering their vehicles and all that, right? So they've already been able to lower their costs, which shows you they already had margin, right? They've lowered costs, but these are the types of institutions that are going to be able to move into positions like this. And the other thing, I don't know if gold and silver is the same thing as the new accounting rules for digital assets, but I would assume that it's probably something similar. I don't know if it's difference between holding it on your balance sheet as an investment versus picking it up as a supply, a material that goes into your production. That's probably accounted differently. But nonetheless, taking a major position like that by some of these institutions and smart money is what's happening right now. And that's why the COMEX got drained for another 1 million ounces today. So it's not just me, getting excited about gold and silver going to these crazy prices. I'm just looking at the data and I'm trying to understand how this actually moves, how we actually get it out of the ground. And when you look at the whole process, you account for everything. You account for the solar supply actually using more silver in the new and improved solar panels. They actually get improved by using more silver, being double-sided. And that's what's taking place in China right now. And so the solar industry is eating it up. You got the electric vehicles that are eating it up, and they're the ones that can afford to pay a higher price. And they'll just move the price on over to the consumer at the end of the day. Right? They'll be willing to maybe get squeezed a little bit on their margin, but eventually if they're able to, they're just going to push that cost on over. And I don't, once again, that's just one dynamic that's impacting silver and gold price. That's where it gets so exciting. That's why price goes up. All these folks say, well, silver will, and gold will never go to these prices because our iPhone would cost too much. No, it won't. A Bank of Apple, which that's the next move for Apple and some of these other companies, is or whether Verizon's doing it, the phone company. Instead of, you being on a plan to pay off your phone in 2 years, you're going to be on a plan to pay off your phone in 4 years. That's all that's going to change. Yeah, you'll be paying $2,000 for an iPhone. You'll be paying for it over 4 years. Not a big deal. Or maybe Biden will do free phones. We'll get like Obama did. Free phones. I don't think that that'll be a constraint. I think that folks are it's the complete opposite of what folks are trying to spin that narrative. Gold and silver can't go to crazy prices because our electronics would be too much. No, that's just, it's a small factor. It's one part of the price that we see for gold and silver, but the impact that it's going to have is going to push price up because their demand's not going away. So they're going to have to pay that higher price if they still want to be able to turn off that profit, and that'll just get passed on to the consumer in different ways. It's a good question though, Sam, because a lot of people are, asking about that. Can gold and silver actually go to these crazy prices? Appreciate all the super chats tonight, guys. Thank you for the support. Always appreciate it. Well, Daryl says, you mean my phone will become slow before I even pay it off? Nice. Well, that's the thing is now you'll just be on, essentially you already are on lease agreements. And so you're just going to be using the phone for a year and then upgrading every single year. That's where this goes, where you will own nothing and be happy. Right? So instead of you buying the phone for $2,000, you are just essentially renting or leasing the phone for $100 a month. Right? $150 a month. Some of your phone plans, what have they gone to? Hundreds of dollars per month for the whole family. Do you think that Ripple will buy these companies by selling XRP? Well, Tom, it is no doubt that Ripple is turning a profit off of selling their XRP. That is one way that they are funding their business, and it is the major way that they are funding their business. Absolutely. So yeah, they are using the sales of XRP to fund their business, but you got to look at what their business is all about. XRP is the heartbeat of their business, and the acquisitions that they're making. Not only do they help the company Ripple, but they're expanding out the XRP Ledger ecosystem as well. They're all in on the XRP Ledger, as was just showcased at the Apex Developer Summit that just took place in Amsterdam. David Schwartz was a main speaker there. Right? You absolutely love to see it. All right, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me on the way out. We're approaching an hour and 33 minutes here. That's a good time to call it a night. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. And like I said, I'm going to be dropping some exclusive content tomorrow morning in our Discord weekly call. If you guys are looking to get tapped in with our group, our community, it is a real family over there. And it's a place where you can get in direct contact with me as well. So just head on over to my website, zachrector.com. If you haven't already, make sure we subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I have an update that's dropping at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys tune in. I appreciate you guys. God bless all of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.